Okay, now it's 1 minute past 10, so I think we can start. So welcome everyone to this Aton PLM 7.3 virtual launch webinar. And some practicalities before we start. So the webinar will be recorded and the link will be shared to you after this event. Please ensure that your microphone is muted and the camera switched off during the entire webinar. If you have any questions or comments, please type those into the meeting chat and we will answer those after the webinar. And here's the agenda for this webinar. So first we are going to have introductions and a couple of words about concept called digital thread. Then we go through the new Aton 7.3 new features highlights. Then we have a demo section where we demo these new features, and we have commercial news and questions and answers at the end. And here's the Roima team that is with you today. So my name is Juha Anttonen and I work in solution sales. And we also have here today Mr. Erik Luodenmäki, who is a senior consultant and product manager for Aton. Niko Lehtinen, who is business consultant and product manager for Aton for CAD, and Ismo Kuuri, who is PDM/PLM consultant. And then we start with the digital thread concept. So what is digital thread? It's a Roima level concept, and there are lots of things happening in this one slide, but we will start from the middle, where are the green arrows going from left to right. And that's the typical business process for our customers. And it starts in the design phase where you use different CAD softwares to design your products. Then you usually collect the product data into one system and maybe enhance it a bit. Then you sell your product to your customers and then manufacture it, deliver it. And usually our customers have long service life cycle part for their products where they sell spare parts and maintenance services and make all the after sales actions there. And on top of this business process, there are different boxes which are filled with different IT software acronyms. And all the green boxes are part of Roima's product portfolio. So this is where we can help our customers. And the only box that isn't green is the first one, so CAD. We don't have own CAD softwares, but our customers use mechanical and electrical CAD softwares where they design their products. And then PLM, which is Aton, is integrated to these CAD softwares. So that's where the digital thread begins for the product. So we collect the product data from CAD softwares to Aton and enhance it a bit. And then in the sales phase, we can utilize CRM or configurator softwares, or we can do the sales in digital commerce platform where we can use configurator, for example, in web browser. And in the manufacturing phase, we have manufacturing execution systems and manufacturing operation management systems where we can manufacture the product and make sure that we have all the necessary parts available in our production and we can collect those from our warehouses to start the production. And then we deliver the product, and in the service phase we can sell spare parts through the digital commerce platform or utilize, for example, Lean System Service module to make the maintenance for the product at the site. And there are a couple of screenshots of different Roima products. So first is Aton, then there is ParTrap, which is our digital commerce platform solution, and Lean System, which takes responsibility for the manufacturing and, for example, the service business phase. So this is the Roima level digital thread, and today, of course, we are going to focus on the PLM, which is Aton. And then another framework picture before we go to the new features of Aton. But it's good to go this picture through because this is a very important part in the digital thread, and many of the new features are also part of this picture that we are going to show you today. So this is the framework for change management. And it starts from feedback, which may come from, for example, production, that we want to change something in the product. And then we utilize workflow in Aton to get that message to correct persons to the engineering change request phase, where we analyze, collect, and define the changes. And when the change is defined, we can again utilize the workflow and go to the next part, which is the engineering change order part. So we fill ECO form, and there we implement the changes for the product. And then again, we use workflow and we get to the engineering change notification phase, where we ensure that all the necessary stakeholders get the information about the change and how it affects the different business processes. And in this, we can utilize Aton's impact analysis tool to track this whole process and make it structural. Okay, and then we are going to the launch phase of 7.3 version. And here are the highlights of new features from Aton 7.3. So we have watch feature coming, which is a very handy feature to track changes in Aton. And then we have item find and replace, which is a feature that has been wished a lot, and it's available in Aton Client and Aton for CAD. We also have reverse structure tree feature, which makes the change management more easier, and also several improvements to impact analysis tool, which helps you to implement the changes. Also, we have forms up, which will enhance your communication, and Entra ID authentication, so you can easily to log in Aton. And Aton for CAD has also multiple new features which we will be covering today. And also, of course, there are numerous smaller improvements that make easier to use the software and are happening maybe behind the interface, but boost the efficiency of the usage of Aton. But then let's go a bit deeper to these new features, and the first one is watch feature. And watch feature, it's an easy way to track changes in items, documents, and dynamic forms, which can be projects, products, or feedbacks, or change requests. And in Aton, there is this watch button in the interface where you can start to watch a certain item or document or dynamic form, or you can stop watching it just pushing the same button. We can also create custom tracking rules as subscriptions to follow new entries, such as newly created items. So every time someone creates a new item into the system, you will get notification about it through Aton or via email. So this feature will improve and automate the information flow in your organization and enhance your overall business efficiency. And the next one is item find and replace. Item find and replace is a quick and easy way to replace an item with another item in selected direct parents in one operation. And there's one example of it where we change the item A to item B, and we can do the change in several direct parents in the same operation, and also update the 3D model at the same time. So this really boosts the change efficiency. And this functionality can be started from Aton or from Aton for CAD. And this will enhance the implementation of changes significantly. Then we have reverse structure tree. And reverse structure tree supports the planning and identifying impacts of changes. So this means that we can select an item, which is in this example, this electric motor. And with this reverse structure tree, we can see all the higher level structures where this electric motor is used. So this gives a really good view when you are planning your changes that, okay, where this change is going to affect. And you might be familiar with the where used function, and this is kind of an enhancement for it, because now you can see all the higher level structures also where the item has been used. And this feature simplifies and streamlines the change management in your day-to-day work. And next, impact analysis improvements, which are linked to this reverse structure tree actually. So in impact analysis tool, if we want to make a change where we change the item A to item B in this example, the green ones are the old items and parents, but when we change the A to B, we can select which parents or where we want to implement the change, and we can also make new versions of the parent items as well. Also at the same time, we can keep the old history data and do the changes in the new versions in the parent structures. And also we have new change effect types in impact analysis. So we have bomb row and delete bomb row, which enable mass changes. So you can delete or add multiple rows to your structures at the same time. So this is really efficient boost for the change implementation. And next is Forms Up, which expands the communication. So Forms Up is a web-based tool that allows you to create forms easily in Aton through the new browser interface for different business purposes. And one example could be that in your production, if you have product feedback or change request, a person in production can easily just fill this form in web browser, and then it goes to Aton, and the design engineer team can start to analyze and implement the change in the product data. So this is really improving the communication and enhancing your overall business operations, which are linked to the digital thread. And then it's time for Aton for CAD new features. And Aton for CAD, we have this find and replace also included in it, and we covered it already. But we also have a couple of old solid PDM functionalities that are now available in Aton for CAD as well. So those are edit in context and save as copy. And maybe the most important new feature or improvement is the performance in Aton for CAD. And that we are going to cover a bit deeper. So in the picture, we can see the functionality of Aton for CAD. So it downloads the data from Aton's database to the local workstation. And this used to be, if we use here pipe analogy, there was only one pipe where the data was downloaded. But with this performance improvement, we can do several parallel downloads. So we have multiple pipes where we download the models from Aton to local workstation. And this really improves the opening times in Aton for CAD. And we have also made a comparison here. So we have two graphs, and on left side we have office network where we have made this test, and on the right side we have home Wi-Fi / VPN setup where we have made the same test. So we have opened a test file, and on green we see the opening time for solid PDM, and on the red we see the opening time in Aton for CAD for the same file. And as we can see, the first opening, there is a significant improvement in Aton for CAD with the opening time versus solid PDM, but especially in the second opening, we really get the time benefits here. So it's much faster than in solid PDM. So we are really proud of these results that we have achieved in Aton for CAD. And the test assembly which was used in this test was 43 megabytes, and it included 2,300 parts. Okay, now we have covered the new features in slide level, but I think now begins the interesting part where we are going to see the actual demos of these new features. And on that note, I will give the presentation to Mr. Erik Luodemäki.
Okay, thank you. And you may see the Forms app display here. Yes, my name is Erik Luodemäki, and I'm going to demonstrate Aton client new features. But actually, first I start my demo from new Forms app application that Juha mentioned. And I work as a production worker here. Let's assume that I want to give a feedback about a motor relating to our cable winch product, and for that purpose I open new feedback form here in the Forms app. I apply the title of it. So issue is that I propose to change the motor more powerful, and title for it and more detailed description. And there is some mandatory classification that I must select here, and every fields and classification and drop-down list, they are maintained and can be defined and changed in the Aton admin tool. And as a new feature also, I can apply some files. For example, if I have a pictures about that cable winch and motor that I propose to change and replace. And then create. So that's the easy way to give a feedback to Aton through the Forms app, web-based Forms app application. So then I move to the Aton client, and now I work as a change coordinator, and I'm interested about is there any new feedback given. I can find the same feedback and I can check it and review. I can add, of course, more information to it, and let's say that it seems to me okay to implement, and I change its status, accept it, and I want to go forward it and implement this motor replacement. For that, I create an engineer change order, base it on the feedback. I can find it here. I open it, and of course this feedback acceptance and creating engineer change order, and actually I skipped the engineer change request if refer to concept that you had just, but in this demo purpose I skip those phases to keep this demo a little bit shorter. So I apply more information to engineer change order here. I add the replaced motor. I know it. What is exactly the motor is this? That's this red one, 2 kilowatt motor, and I know that it should be replaced with new motor, this blue, little bit powerful, to 3 kilowatt motor. So I apply it here. Then next phase that I really want to do the replacement, and first thing is that interesting that where this motor that is meant to be target is to be replaced, where it is used, and really do the replacement. So for that purpose I open the new operation replace item feature, and here as a default there is that replaced item where I start the operation, the 2 kilowatt red motor, and I know the replacing item that it is this 3 kilowatt motor. So that way I have defined the replaced and replacing item. Next step is to select and browse that. I can see that this motor is used in 4 different parent items, and here I can select those parents where I want to do the replacement. I can see also that there is one item that is selection is disabled. That's because it's accepted, or in general way it's in a status that disables the replacement. So I can use this tool only to replace the item in those parents which are in that kind of status that enables to update current version. So I have selected 2 parent item. Next I review the parameters of the replacement. Here I can control how the replacement is done. What is the new part, structural validation date, how the old structural is handled, what is the done for the replace item, how the structural filter info or relationship are managed, how the pieces and quantity are managed in the replacement case. But usually as a default the replacement is done this way, so usually you don't have to change these. replace itself functionality, and first I can validate the replacement, and I get the information that what is going to be done in which parent, which item is replaced with another item. And then finally, if this is okay for me, I do the replacement. And like Juha said, this replace functionality can be launched both from Aton client and Aton for CAD. And if there is a SolidWorks model relating to those parent items, they are also modified and updated with the new replaced item. If I then go to the one of those parent item structure, check out how the replacement is done. There is the blue new 3 kilowatt motor, but if I remove the data and show the deleted row, I can find and see the old replaced item also, the red motor, 2 kilowatt motor. It's just deleted and new structure row is added for the replacing item. So in that way we keep the history. So that's the demo about the find and replace tool, which is a quick and easy way to do the replacement in direct selected parents which are not accepted, and freeze it in that way. Another challenge could be that you have a freeze it and accepted item. Let's go back to the Engineered Change reorder, and we are interesting still that what are the other parents. So then I open show all parents display, and this can be called also reversed item structure. And here I can see still those two parents where this motor item that I'm planning to replace is used. There is first those two direct parents, but I'm interested also that, okay, if I replace this motor in this motor assembly and I create new version of motor assembly, what are those parents? There is a cable winch where this motor assembly is used. And again, I can, if the cable winch is used somewhere other parent. No, it's not. So, but let's say that that way it's this like a really enhancement for the fair use. I can see the parents and the parents' parents and so on through the multi-level structure from top, from down to top level, most top level. But let's say so that I want to do the replacement also in this motor assembly and also cable winch, but keep the history because they are accepted, and do that in the new version of motor assembly and cable winch. And that I can do together with this reversed item structure and using the impact analyze tool. So for that I reserve Engineered Change order and open the impact analyze tool to collect the needed changes. First I select the items, motor assembly and cable in, because I want to do the revision of those. I transfer them as a new changes, new rows, and the change effect type for these are it's a create new major version. So now I have defined that these two items, which are running now in version 0, will be create a new version, and new version is 1. Then I want to apply those structure rows itself and motor and the motor assembly. And for those I select a different case. I transfer them to the replaced column. I have a next two new rows to impact analyze, and this motor as a motor item that I want to replace another motor. that change effect type is replaced with total new another code. And this is case I don't want to replace it total another new code, but new major version. And still I must define that, okay, this motor is replaced, but what is the replacing new motor? And that was the blue one that I can find easily here, and at impact analyze and replacing column. So now this should be completely defined. So there are two rows to create a new version of items and two rows to do the replacement in the item structure. So they should be ready to implement using impact analyze tool. Now you can see that the parent version are now 0, but when I create and execute implement this first row to create a version, validate data, so it's inform me that what is going to do. New version from 0 to 1 is created. I run it, and then those parent item version are updated automatically. So you don't have to manually check those and change. I close this, so in that sense these next structure row are ready to implement. Just select them and implement changes and validate and run. And this is a result what is done. And then if I open this motor assembly and cable winch and its structure, I can see that there is still that this is the starting point, the version 0 of cable winch and motor assembly. It was accepted. It still remains the same. Red one motor, 2 kilowatt motor. But if I check out the cable winch new version that I just created, I can see that there is a new version. They are as a starting point in the main information created, but there is a new blue motor in the substructure. There are also a couple of new change effect type. If I add one structure row, the impact analyze, you can add new BOM row to the structure, select it and define the structure, and you can delete the existing BOM row. So in that sense, together with replacement change effect type, with this delete BOM row and add new BOM row, this makes an impact analyzer quite powerful tool to do the different kind of mass changes to the item structures. So that was everything about the direct change management. Then how to get the information about the changes in Aton. So if I open, for example, this item and close another tabs, we have a new watch feature. For example, if I'm interested about the changes done for this specific item and want to get a notification about those changes, I just press the watch icon. Now I'm watching it, and whenever its item is changed, for example, this way, I will get here notification information item. This specific item version cable winch item is modified as a new push event. And if I don't want to get any more notification of this item, just stop watching. that. And this is available. I can that way watch and get a notification about a specific item, document, or any type of dynamic form like a product, project, change forms. Another option is to more general, that you are interested about the overall changes in a specific items group or document group. You can create a so-called subscription. For example, I am interested about the new electrical motor, and it's defined in this way that it's first that which object type you are interested about the items, but you are specified detail way which is the item group. Just I'm interested only about the electrical motor. What are the triggering events? Is it that whenever it's created in that specific item group, deleted, modified, or revision, change, or version changes? And if you are interested about statuses, you can define what special status is. And do you want to get the notification just inside Aton or also email? And when you have defined that kind of subscription like this one, and in electrical motor, if I select one electrical motor here and create, for example, one new one, copying this as a new. I should get again new push event here, item created, mechanical motor, and this one item modified, pointing to this new item. So if I press that button, the item is opened. That's the way how you can define a subscription and like an order notification about general changes or events in Aton. If you want to browse all the notification that you have previously received, there is also available notification history tab where you can see all the history, all the notification. So that was everything about as a demo, new features in Aton client side. So next we will going to see and demonstration of Aton for CAD by Nico.
Yes. So can you see my screen now? Or can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, hello all from my behalf. And I think I have been in contact with almost all of you in somehow. But anyway, my name is Niko Lehtinen and I'm a business consultant, but also a product manager of Aton for CAD. And for those who haven't heard of Aton for CAD yet, it is an extension of our Aton PLM system, and it integrates together Aton and CAD applications such as SolidWorks or the Autodesk Inventor. And I also noticed that there are a lot of Solid PDM users participated. So Aton for CAD is a newer product from Solid PDM, and the functionalities and the interfaces is a bit different, but the idea is the same. But I'm not going to introduce the whole system, and I will show a few new features of our latest version 7.3. And I'll start by showing how to use the find and replace feature in Aton for CAD side. So previously Eric introduced this feature more detail during the client presentation, so I'll just show how it can be used with Aton for CAD. So first I need to find the correct product or the item. So if I would like to do the similar operation than Erik did, I mean replace the cable winch's motor with a bigger one, it will happen like this. So I can use the advanced search tab to find the cable winch, or I can go to the recent lists and select here because I have already tested this today, or I can navigate the correct product or the item with our workspaces. And whenever it is possible to present our workspaces as a product portfolio, the product management, I will do so. So as you can see here is our imaginary product portfolio, and this is the one way to use the workspaces to manage products or the projects. So I go there the cable winches and I select the hydraulic winches, and let's select here the cable winch model A. And I would like to replace the cable winch motor with a bigger one. So I go to the structure, and here is the electrical motor there. So I click on my right mouse button there, and there is the replace item. So as you can see, the window is exactly the same that Erik earlier presented, and also the operation is totally similar. It doesn't make any difference. Am I using the find and replace functionality in Aton ForCAD side or the Aton client side? So this is the exactly same from both sides. Okay, so I can use it. I can put here the replacing item code and select the parents, check the parameters, and do the validation and accept the replacement operation. So this is the totally similar in the both ways. Okay, so some other new feature. I open the cable winch and I'm introduce the edit in context feature. It's quite similar as Solid PDM has currently, but now this feature has been brought to the basic feature of Aton ForCAD. So you can make the individual, or you can make the changes to the individual parts or sub-assembly inside the main assembly. And I mean, in this case, the cable winch means the main assembly. So there's no need to jump back and forth between the part and assembly. So you can do the changes in the inside the assembly. So in some cases, it's easier to modify the part here. So I select here, edit in context, and it will ask, do I want to reserve it? Yes. And now I have this part reserved to me. So we can check here what I have reserved. So I have the cable winch, but also the protective cap is now reserved to me. And there's no additional open windows in background or anything else. So let's say I do some changes here. I add a additional hole here. Okay, now there is a hole, and then I go back to the model, rebuild, and still I have this protective cap reserved to me. So I can do the release here, select the release object if I'm sure that there will be no other changes. So I select the release object, and I can create totally new document and the item or a new version. And I think this is quite handy. You can make changes at the same time and make sure at a higher level that there are no collisions in the model. Or I can just update the current one or discard the changes. Or if you think you might have to do some other changes to the model, then you can leave it as it is and keep working and release it back to the system at the same time you are releasing the main assembly. And it only requires one operation. So you could have multiple different active documents or the parts here, and when you are releasing the main model, you can do all those operations in one action. So let's do so. So I select the check-in, and as you can see, here are the both items, the cable winds and also the protective cap. And also I can update the drawing as well for the assembly, but also the protective cap. So I select the check-in, and it will release those items back to the system, and the protective cap has been now modified and the drawing will be updated. So what makes using Aton for CAD efficient is that you don't have to do separate releases for each document or item. Instead, with one operation, it is possible to release all reserved items or documents related to the main assembly into the system at once. And also the drawings are automatically updated at the same releases. And this combined with the performance improvements that you have presented earlier increase the designer's productivity and efficiency. So still loading, but I think our time is almost up, or at least Aton for CAD time. So this was a brief overview of the new features in Aton for CAD. And if you have any questions or you would like to hear more about Aton for CAD, I'm always happy to tell you more. But now I think I'll give the floor back to Juha.
Thank you, Erik and Nico. Very interesting demos. And then it's time for some commercial news. And if you have Aton SaaS, which means you are buying the software as a service, you can pretty much forget this slide because you will get the 7.3 version automatically as part of your service, and you will always be in the supported versions of Aton. But if you are on-premise user, then it's good to note that now we are going to start soon deliver Aton 7.3, and after that the supported versions will be 7.2 and 7.1, and all the older versions of Aton are no longer in the support. And if you are interested in to take advantage of these new features, you can contact your own Roima contact person or me, and we can make a plan how to upgrade your Aton to latest 7.3 version. And we have here a small offer for you. So before May 21st, you can order Aton 7.3 upgrade to your on-premise, and there will be 10% discount for the implementation work of the upgrade project. And we have also one thing to promote for our on-premise customers. So we have also made version upgrade as a service available for our on-premise customers. So this means that you would pay a monthly fee, which would then give you regular version upgrades for your Aton. And this really makes life easier, because then the budgeting is much more easier. You are paying monthly fee and you don't have any big upgrade projects coming every 2 or 3 years. So now it's more easier to budget the software costs. And you will always have the up-to-date version, which will enhance, for example, the IT security when you have latest modules of Aton available. And there is also possibility to add small development in this service. So if you know that you do regular small development and you would like to get a discount price for that small development work, we can also add that into this service. And once again, it really makes the budgeting a much more easier for Aton software. So if you're interested of this, please contact your contact person or me, and we can discuss this more with you. Okay, that's about the commercial news, and now it's time for questions, comments, and answers. And let's see if we have here any questions on the chat. There was question about the watch feature, that does it work with projects and product objects, and there is already an answer that yes, it works. And then a question about solid PDM and Aton for CAD releasing time tests. Those are not yet done, but the feeling is that Aton for CAD is there faster. Then there is a question about, can we define subscription based on specific eco field? Example, if I'm interested ecos related to specific product area. Yes, it should be possible. Eco field must be defined mandatory, then it's available in subscription. And then next questions. Are the change orders integrated with the change orders in Lean somehow? And then another question, that can we get the description of the changes to the SolidWorks drawing somehow? But let's take the first question there. So are the change orders integrated with the change orders in Lean? So
I would say that not that as a default, but it could be done. It's doable.
Yeah. And can we get the description of the changes to the SolidWorks drawing somehow? This maybe goes to Nico.
Yeah, offhand I cannot say how this can be implemented, but we can look into it. Is there some way to add those to the SolidWorks drawing also?
I think it should be possible to using the Aton PDM API and apply that data, but we must check that.
Yes.
Okay, then there is a comment that it would be good to have some kind of chat/comment field or similar for ECO, ECR, ECN, so it would be possible to add comments to those for further information and better collaboration. Great improvement idea. Do you see, Eric, is there any ways to do this kind of commenting?
There is a new so-called table feature or field, and that means that you can add dynamically new row, and I think that could be used for adding the new comments by users, and because that you can add all time new rows, new comment. New row means a new comment, so it's dynamical. It's not just a research text field. So that could be a solution for that one.
Yeah, thank you for good comment there. And then, for how long will Solid PDM be supported? Years/versions. Correct me, Nico, if I'm wrong, but we don't actually have yet the kind of end of life date yet for Solid PDM, so it will be supported, and we will inform you you on time that if something changes there, but way beforehand that something really changes. So no need to worry about that. But probably new features won't be coming to Solid PDM, of course, because we are putting our development efforts for Aton for CAD. And then another question, what versions of SolidWorks will be supported with the 7.2 and 7.3? I think, Nico, this is for you.
Yeah, usually we have a policy that 3 latest SolidWorks versions are supported. So that means in 7.2 it is SolidWorks 2024, 23 and 22, and 7.3 is 25, 24 and 23.
Okay. And the next one, is it possible to upload files to change objects without Aton document object and relationship?
Yes, I demonstrated it. It's now possible to upload just the files and direct to the change object like feedback I'd use it and both in Forms app or in Aton client. That's actually one of detail new feature.
Yes, excellent. And then can custom properties be sent in both directions? So some fields from parts to Aton and some fields the other way around.
What do you think, Nico?
I'm not sure. Do I get the point? Can custom properties be sent in both directions?
Meaning the CAD properties, maybe. I think.
I need to think about this, but I can answer you later.
Yep, great. We will provide the answer for this later when we are sharing the materials of this webinar. Looks like there is no more questions or comments, but if you have those afterwards this webinar, please contact us and we will answer to you about all the comments and questions of Aton 7.3. I think it's time to end this webinar. So thank you to everyone. It was really pleasure to give you this launch of Aton 7.3 and thank you for your interest about it.